if we could offer protection to these little human beings everywhere in the world, but we can't. And so we really have to work for better conditions for them. We have to make a better world. And I did an event where I was a musical director for an event in 2002 at the United Nations where Nelson Mandela and Graça Machel hosted the event. And we had 800 heads of state, ambassadors, all kinds of people come to the United Nations on the front lawn, and we did a concert for them. And we had children.
Oh. You muted.
You seem to have muted yourself by accident.
Yeah, I probably am just talking too long and it's telling me to stop. So I really feel like we should do something, really focus our activities as artists on creating awareness about the needs of children everywhere. And anyway, Nelson Mandela and Graça Machel gathered 94 million signatures of children around the world to try to create an awareness for the leaders in the world about just even basic things for children: clean water, shelter, reasonably good food, clothing, things that we just take for granted in so many countries, but so many countries are really struggling with these basic issues. So this is a prayer for all the children. Oh God, guide me, protect me, illumine the lamp of my heart, and make me a brilliant star. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Oh God, guide me, protect me, illumine the lamp of my heart, and make me a brilliant star. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Oh God, guide me, protect me, illumine the lamp of my heart, and make me a brilliant star. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Do you want me to start, Jean?
Just go ahead. You know what's happening next.
Well, I'm very, as I said, very excited that Lily Liebrock is here with us today. And Lily, as I mentioned, does these wonderful Zoom concerts for disabled kids every Sunday. Lots of families and their kids who have been shut in for a long time, and really, it's such a wonderful thing to see what she's doing. And I was asked if I would just ask Lily a few questions about herself so you could learn about her. So Lily, if any of these questions are surprising, you'll just tell me, right? But I would love to know what first really got you interested in music and singing.
That's a great question. So my mom, who's the most incredible human, she's right over there. She had a book launch, and I was 5 years old, and she asked me if I could sing the song "For Good" with her from Wicked. And we sang together at this book launch, and the music just kind of took me away. I had never experienced such a thing before, where I just felt like right now a bit choked up and just swept away by the power that music has. And then just growing up, I've really been involved in a lot of charity events, and that's been so huge in my love for music. Because while I study music at Sheridan for musical theater, and it's so incredible, and I'm so grateful for that training. It's really these charity events that have given me the foundation of why I really love music, and how much of a power it has on other people.
That's wonderful. And in your studies, like, I understand obviously that you're studying music of all kinds, but you're specializing because you love musicals.
Yeah.
What attracted you about that genre of music that you're focused on your studies for that world?
Yeah. So when I was 8 years old, I broke my leg, actually, and I couldn't go to summer camp, and I couldn't go anywhere really. And I found out that my school was doing a play, actually Annie, and I thought I want to be a part of this. There's something that was drawing me to it, and my mom signed me up for singing lessons, and I actually watched all of Annie straight through, and I actually wrote down every single word of it, and I almost memorized the whole script and the songs and everything. And um, basically being in that show, it just it took my breath away. I couldn't believe that I could act and sing and dance all in one show. And from then on, I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And then as I got into high school, I realized that this is what I want to do with my life. I realized that I'm the most happy when I'm on stage, and I also realized that it makes other people happy. And I also just love telling stories. That's a huge element for me, and I'm actually studying writing for musical theater in school. So I'm getting the opportunity to learn how to tell stories, which I think is so powerful and important, especially in today's day.
Yes, for sure. And the other, I guess the final question before you sing for us,
Yeah.
I'm, you know, you obviously look at the world today and you see, lots of people with having great success in music and in theater and those kinds of things. Um, what are your thoughts about how you as a person will break into that world? Because I'm sure there are lots of young people that we all know who really love music and they want to make a profession of it. What's your sense about how you'll do that? Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for one, I've always dreamed of being on Broadway and being at Shaw and Stratford and all of these big theater companies. But I'm also really excited about creating my own work. And I got the opportunity this year to create my own acting project, and it was my own 10-minute piece all about the event of the Holocaust. And it taught me that I also have the opportunity to tell stories and share what I want to say. So honestly, any way that I can tell stories and be involved in music, that's what I want to be doing.
That's wonderful. I just wanted to tell you that it's a very smart approach to be able to think about it. And this is something that many of us here today have learned and maybe are still learning is that creating original work is really the secret to a long creative career. And I wish you really well with that. And I really appreciate you coming and singing for us today. Please tell us what you'd like to sing, and the Zoom stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, okay, so the first song that I'll be singing today is called Ma rendi por contento. It's by Bellini, and I just fell in love with this song. I've always really believed in the power of music and that it's a very spiritual thing, and I've always believed that when you sing, you pray twice. So, this song, whenever I'm having a tough time, whenever I'm just feeling sad or feeling a bit confused or lost, I always turn to this song, and I wanted to share that with you all today. Just bring me some light, joy, and here we go. Thank you so much. So that song is called Just Make Her Happy. And it's Marendi por contento, but that's the translation. And that song to me really means when you give your joy and your happiness and your light to other people, you just make the world a better place. And that's about it. And for me, being a part of Jake's Jam, which Jack talked about every Sunday, has just given me so much meaning, especially during this time. And it's really taught me what love and community really is. So I wanted to sing this next song. It's called Till There Was You. It's from The Music Man. And I wanted to dedicate it to that group of people. Thank you so much. And for my last song, I wanted to sing a song called I Want to Go to Hollywood. And this song just has always reminded me that you can do anything that you set your mind to. If you have a passion and you love what you're doing, you can do it. This is I Want to Go to Hollywood. What did he see in me? What's my attraction? Could that face make a million men adore me? And make 100 cameramen explore me? Is that the girl I see there right before me? I want to be that girl in the mirror there. I wanna be that girl with golden hair up on a silver screen most everywhere in the world. I want to go to Hollywood. Talkies, I mean the pictures. I wanna have a hot time every night. Get out and raise a little Fahrenheit. Knock every Duke and Count and Baron right off his feet. I'll be that girl who's understood. Oh, I want to go to Hollywood. I want to sing the blues. I want to wear nice shoes and drink illegal booze in every late night spot for Le Jazz Hot. I want a breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. If I'm the next box office winner there, I'll be the most well-known Berliner there ever was. I want to go to Hollywood, so I want to go to Hollywood. I want to be that girl in the mirror there. I want to be that girl with golden hair up on a silver screen most everywhere in the world. I want to go to Holly. I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. I have to go, I have to go, I have to go, I have to go, I have to go to Hollywood. Hollywood. I swear that girl in the mirror, girl in the mirror, that girl in the mirror is going to go to Hollywood. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lily. That was wonderful, and a really nice way to show us your voice and the songs that you love. And we really appreciate you coming and doing this today. I look forward to hearing more about you, and hopefully you'll join us again when you're on Broadway.
I would love that. Thank you so much for inviting me, and
Yeah.
it was so nice to meet all of you, and I can't wait to see what's next.
And
Thank
thanks
you.
thanks to your mom. Thanks to Judy as well. Please give her our best, okay?
I will. Thank you.
All right. God bless. To you, Jean. Are we going to Van now or to Jean?
Okay. Well, I'm happy to be here and to be introducing to you a person that I've known for a good while now. Rod Ferreira actually works for me at the Baha'i National Center at the House of Worship for the North American Continent. However, he lives in Brazil, and he now is working from Brazil to help me in the choir. Now, one of the strange things is that I know very little about Rod's music because he's been helping us coordinate choral festivals. He's been keeping in touch with all the people who come to the choral festivals, and he lets the choir know every time we're going to meet. Still meet, even though we're doing it on Zoom. We get together to say hello. So we see each other every week. We talk to each other practically every day, either through WhatsApp or emails. It starts early in the morning because Rod is 3 hours ahead of me. And so he's up and doing stuff, and I'm just barely getting up, and he's already got a whole list of things to do from Rod. Now, what's going to be interesting for me and for those of you who know Rod, and then those of you who don't know Rod, is that he does have a music background that he uses regularly. And one of the other things I want to say before I start asking him questions is You know, one of the other things we thought about as we have these right now, twice a month, is that artists really don't seem to be supported that well by so many people. If we talk about Baha'i artists, there's a lack of support. If we talk about just artists in general, there's a lack of support. You have to already be making records and doing something really big to be supported. So keeping music alive and keeping the arts alive is really important. And that's one of the reasons we're doing this, hoping we'll introduce to you a lot of people who are sometimes even struggling to exist as artists. And so they do other things. Rod's doing other things, but he's also doing art. Uh, Rod, before I ask you any questions, are you going to give us a sample first of your music?
Yeah, I'll play a little jam here, so I really don't sing, so I'm just
Oh
gonna
no,
play a
you
little
have to
jam on the
sing. You'll have to
guitar.
sing too.
I don't know if everybody can hear. You guys can hear the guitar okay? Sweet. All right. So
Great.
now I'm ready for your questions, man.
Okay. I've been telling Rod every day before this that I'm going to ask him some questions that he's not expecting. But actually, I'm not. One of the things I want to know, and I think a lot of us want to know who know him, and then for you who don't know him, well, how did you get started in music? And
Well,
while you're telling us, tell us about what your career aspirations might have been or might be now.
yeah, of course. When I was very little, I went to a party, and there was a person there that was playing guitar, and that idea of that, this big place, a lot of people, but then just one person with one instrument was able to gather all that people around. I thought that was the coolest thing. And that guy was actually nice enough to actually, teach me. Like I was just this little kid, and he taught me how to play a chord, which was this chord here. It's an E major chord. And then he told me like, if you move this around on the guitar, like you make different sounds. So just with that, me as a little kid, it's like I'm writing my first song. And then from that one, I was hooked. I was like, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna learn how to play guitar. I'm gonna become a guitar player. And being a little kid and enjoying rock music, that was my main goal in life. Was like, I'm gonna go to the United States and join a rock band, and being this rock star. Things didn't pan out that way that much, but I still was able to play a couple of gigs and have some fun as a guitar player and write music, which is something that I really enjoy doing it.
Uh, Rod, though, you came to America. And why did you come to America in the beginning?
Um, I was also a swimmer, so I was a swimmer slash guitar player, and I was doing well here in Brazil, competing, and I got a proposition to swim for a university in the United States, and I'm such a yes guy, I didn't even think through it. Like they were like, "Do you want to come here and study for free and swim for us?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go." It was actually University of North Dakota, so I didn't, bother researching anything. I just went straight up Brazil to North Dakota, which was a lot of difference.
Not too long ago, I sent Rod a picture of the snow here in Chicago. And he said, "Oh, it reminds me of North Dakota." I can't imagine coming
Yep.
from Brazil to North Dakota. That was a big change. Did you play guitar any while you were in college?
I did. I went to school as a music major, so I played guitar throughout college, and I actually started teaching in college because there's a bunch of other students that wanted to take guitar as a class, but we only had one guitar teacher. So they open up for students to teach students, and that's how I really developed a big passion about teaching guitar. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Now, I know you were teaching guitar when when I selected you to be my assistant.
Yeah, yeah.
You had in Chicago area. Did you have then students in that area?
I did. I taught, like, that was my full-time job after college, was really teaching guitar, having a waiting list of students. But because of YouTube and because there is a lot of free videos nowadays, like all that scene of teaching students kind of diminished little by little. And that's when I started playing more gigs, and then eventually started looking for a part-time job, and that's how I met Van.
Yeah, yeah. And it was unbelievable match. I had no idea it would be. Um, Rod though also does something else I didn't know about, and that is he writes music. He composes. So tell us about this. How did you go from liking the guitar to playing it to teaching it
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
writing music as well? Tell us about the music you write.
Well, like when I was a kid and started learning how to play the instrument, it was very clear to me early age that I didn't have a natural talent for it. It just wasn't something that came easy to me. So what I did, because I wanted so much to play guitar, I started to study like music theory and how sounds worked with other sounds. And then just by learning simple shapes, this, for example, here is a minor chord. So I start really paying attention to that sound and figuring out that's a sad sound. And then from that sound, if I want the pretty sound, I can just lift my finger. Oh, and this is a pretty sound, right? And then just by thinking about my very first lesson of moving chords around, right? If I get this pretty sound and move it up here, now maybe I can have a sweet romantic song, right? Or maybe even other sounds, like if I have a major sound here and I just place my pinky here, now I have a good Friday night song. So from there, I would write songs with anyone and everyone that would give me the time of the day to just like, let's write a tune together. So that's what I've been doing for the past, 15 years, just writing tunes.
And now I'm going to ask our guests to just think about what would you call Rod? In the choir, everybody started calling him Fabio. Fabio. So he has a nickname with the choir, Fabio. And we're going to hear something that Rod has written, and it's going to be played. But I want, before we get to that, for Rod to tell you what inspired him to actually write music that is the music that we're going to listen to.
Yeah, so, with me enjoying writing songs, I'm always looking for topics, maybe something that I hear someone saying, or being present in a certain event always brings up ideas. So this song comes from attending one of Van's racial equality meetings. And after attending the first one, I had this idea to write a song about it, right? So I just picked up the guitar and just start like trying to find something on the guitar that would sound like a question, or sounding like the guitar is wondering, why can't we get along, right? So I had a couple of ideas, just happening. So I called a good friend of mine. His name is Jones Nelson. We played in a couple of bands together back in 2011, 13, and he's an awesome singer. And I told him about the idea of the song, and I explained a little bit, and he was just like, I got it. He lives in Nashville, so it's kind of a long distance partnership. And we wrote this song, which is home recorded. It's nothing fancy, but I think it came out well. So Gian, if you can play the song right now.
Come and sit next to me and and you'll see that we're not so different. Let's become company, and you'll see that we're not so different.
How about some applause? Yes, yes.
What a message. What a message.
People can show their hands and somehow
Do you-
applause and show
Do
their
you see what you can do with music that is so hard to do when you just talk about it? See, I bet everybody was beginning to, we're not so different. We're not so different. So I appreciate that song. I appreciate Rod, and I'm glad he was able to do something today for us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Just to talk a little bit about that song too. Like I
Sure,
think
yeah,
what's very
yeah.
very interesting about
Yeah.
that is that there is no real drummer player there, or there is no real piano or string person, or organ player. Like I do everything with this little guy here.
Yeah.
So home recording is so cool nowadays that you can do a full production, just with tiny little things.
So he's a one-man band.
Well, what makes the song really cool is the singer. He has a great voice too, a very talented guy. So
Well, it's great to have you on our program today, and I hope you'll keep in mind all of these artists are hoping to be able to use their music, and it takes all of us supporting them in order for them to do their music. So keep that in mind as we move on in the program. And thank you so much, Rod. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Where can I just ask what city in Brazil you're from, Rod?
I am in a small city. I'm hanging out with my parents here, helping out with everything. It's called Juiz de Fora. You probably have never heard of it, but it's like 2 hours away from Rio de Janeiro.
North or south?
North, it's inland.
Okay, inland. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
maybe the participants audience could. Yes, great. Great.
And you have one more recording you'd like to share?
I do, if we have time. Do we still have time?
Absolutely.
Okay, so like I said, I love recording. I love composing. I try to do at least one per week. And this week I just came up with a little chord progression that I put together. Asked a good friend of mine to put bass. His name is Thomas Tyndale, and I thought that I would give to you guys as a challenge. So if there is any singers or composers that would like to jam and write songs with me, there is one just for you.
So Rod, that was all Brazil? Or most of those people from different cultures of Brazil?
Jan put that together, so I believe so. It looks like.
It's amazing what you can do with Creative Commons and PowerPoint.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. We have our next artist. Now we're going to try a new thing, and that's have a visual artist talking with us. It turns out that our next guest, David Starr, and I have had parallel lives, although his decades after mine, but we both grew up in Wisconsin. We both did odd things. We both ended up in Southern California. And he has a marvelous story, and I'd rather just say, David, it's such a treat to have you here, and I know you will just talk and say what you need to say, because that's what Wisconsinites do. So go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Gene, Van, and everyone. What have been working on for a while is a project that was the culmination of a lot of my work. And I know as artists, visual artists, as musicians, art is a reflection of you. And for me, the faith is really important. So, and in dialogues that I find were when in college, I really started exploring and trying to see what path I would take as an artist. Because that was my goal since I was a child. I was always wanted to be a painter. That was a weird phrase to have. But it ties into what the end is of what I want for this project to do. But the fundamental tenets of the Baha'i faith were really important. One being science and religion working hand in hand. And that's where it all ends up leading to, I'll circle back around, but a book I've been working on for baby animal scientists A to Z. So these paintings behind there are paintings of baby animals that share a letter with scientists. And this process, when I started, I was exploring from college, a very young age, like wanting to know where like the soul and physical anatomy kind of worked, because I was a painter, a figurative painter, like to paint realistically. And I got emerging student artist in residence my senior year in college at University of Wisconsin-Stout. And I wanted a project that really kind of questioned, during that time, it was in 2004, there was a lot of prejudice going on against the Muslim communities based off of going to war with America, with the Middle East. And I wanted to bring some harmony or understanding between those, that for me, you can't look at the literal aspects for each faith. If you take every aspect of it, that only you are going to go to heaven or the divine place, like that's really limiting in what the message actually is. So my title of the series, Where is My Soul? An Anatomical Study of the Body, was trying to bring into question the duality of having a physical body and a spiritual soul. Like that those two things, although interjoined, are not like the same part. It's not like you can find the soul, pick it out, and do something with it. So I had done this series. It led from Bible studies that I'd done with people, and it seemed like they were having trouble taking a spiritual interpretation of the lessons that they were teaching in there. And that's where I wanted to end up taking this project and do that. Also, I wanted to learn anatomy, and I'd always wanted to be classically trained as a painter, and neither of those things were really offered. So I ended up using it as an opportunity to be able to do that. After exploring that process and trying to display anatomy by peeling away skin to show muscle structure and bone structure, and then paint it realistically onto a living per their self-portraits. I had an idea, like while I was in the studio, of making large paintings of transformers that were actually different religious temples. So that's, I didn't know I had this vision for it, and it wasn't until after I graduated college. I was trying to come up with a proposal for this emerging artist program in Door County, Wisconsin, and I had the idea for doing these paintings of these huge sculptures, or these huge buildings that transformed into robot-like creatures, and the idea that you had Bahaitron, Islamatron, and Messiahtron, that they were going to form a group together and be a multi-faith worship band. So
Ron, this is a great insight into what an artist, what's going on inside our heads.
So I ended up creating these projects, these like 6.5 feet by 7 foot, or 3 feet by 7.5 foot paintings, and I had an 8 foot by 4 foot painting of these characters, and it was really fun to dive into, and that's what taught me during the apprenticeship or the emerging artist program, was the idea of creating a concept and trying to create multiple pieces of work around it. After I finished that project, I kept exploring deeper into like religious things, because this all ties in with my independent investigation of the truth, like trying to study on my own terms different faiths, and you end up seeing these commonalities that come out even with stories. So I created this series where it was remixing different mythologies and taking common traits and creating a new little scene for it and kind of staging it, and the idea being to bring up similarities that we have with each other, to try to show that we're not so different from each other, and actually that maybe that message is the same message told at different times. So it all kind of tied into that, and I ended up getting a gallery to show my work in New Orleans that I've been showing at for quite a while, ever since there, and I really enjoyed creating the work. I love making that. I was ended up able to sell a lot of the pieces, for a very good like amount of money seemingly, which you then split with the gallery 50-50, and then I realized the amount of work that's going to go into making a full-time living for it. So I got very excited about the idea too, along with like digital music, where you can create one thing and make multiples of it. Because as the paintings of these figures, I didn't really work with oil paint, and they're very luminescent, so it's hard to capture that in a photograph or a reproduction. I wanted to create a series that actually fit with the idea of making reproductions, and that led to this series that I was working on called Liger, which was a print series of sequential art of my son as a zebra centaur befriending this pride of lions, and then kind of the tales of him garnering an arch nemesis. So there's our pencil drawings that were scanned in and then done with digital color. I also did paintings of these 4 foot by 4 foot paintings, and ended up having a show in New Orleans. And I really liked the idea of making a piece that could become a book. So that's what really tied into this last project that I had, because I wanted. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, this is a thing that artists, my visual artist friends, deal with. You pour your heart into it, you make these wonderful things, and then you either sell them and that collection is gone, or you have to store them, or you have to show them. So you're really doing people can really do a great service by having artwork in their public spaces, because otherwise they end up in the attic.
And it was a wonderful opportunity for the emerging artist program, or for the student artist residency. They gave you grant money, but you got to have a piece in the library. My piece, because they had dealt with anatomy as well and physiology, and I had a good relationship with our department head in the science department, she ended up taking on the other two pieces so that they could live in the same area with it, and they were put on display there. but there's something beautiful about having that and rewarding about seeing your work being shared like that. So that's a really cool aspect of it. But I was really intrigued by the idea of being able to create something that would be able to be reproduced, and for that means. And it led me to go ahead.
No, I'm just so excited.
Oh, you're
I
excited.
want people to see this. I followed the link and I got the provisional
The rough
copy
draft.
of what
Yeah.
you're going to talk about. It is so adorable. It will be printed so we can get hard copies, and it's going to be one of my go-to baby gifts from now on. I promise.
So
Go ahead.
So I had started with this idea that I was like, hey, I just want to paint more. I want small little pieces, and I'll just bang them out. So I was like, what could I paint? And I really love with animals, and I incorporate them into my previous series, like saving images with them. And then I was like, I could do like baby animals. And I was gonna start painting a composition. I'm like, I just don't care enough about that. I need something more. I've always been a big idea kind of person, and I wanted to pour more into it, other than just like liking how baby animals look. And I was like, well, what if I combine that? Because I was looking on, like, there were A to Z animals. And so I started looking at A to Z lists, and I saw one of scientists, and I was really fascinated because I just started clicking on it. I was like, wow, like Archimedes has made so many things. Like he helped discover and find so many things that were impacted the entire world, have changed the whole way that we treat the world. And I was like, go ahead.
Go get it off the wall.
Yeah.
Right
So I have
behind you.
So-
We want to
So
see.
I was like, what if I combined and made these little baby animals help display what the discoveries were of Archimedes? So in there we have pi. We have the best approximation of pi we had found. The idea of a level levers and pulleys, like the fact he invented those. Then even in the story about how to find the volume of a shape using displacement of water. So the idea to be able to put all these in, I thought, oh, this would be fantastic if I just came up with a scientist that shared a letter with a baby animal, and then I could make a composition that kind of told more of that story and their discoveries. So I got very excited about this idea, and I knew it was a little bit more work, but I started coming up with compositions for these pieces and just finding scientists that would work and baby animals that work, and I did sketches for it. And all of which you'll, if you want to download the PDF of the book, it's in there. But for in here, this is just a mock-up that I had printed up. But so for Archimedes plus alligator, you have all in here is the compositional sketch that I ended up doing, the date of birth, the country of origin or place, city of origin. And like one of the greatest mathematicians, Archimedes, derived geometrical breakthroughs like the area of a circle, surface area, volume of a sphere, best approximation of pi, the principle of the lever, compound pulleys, the screw pump, among many others. And it was just fascinating when I started seeing these people's discoveries. I was like, why didn't I know all about this? And I may have known some, but like the idea that our education was so lacking on science, and how much of a child's mindset is based off of, like, I want to be a policeman. I mean, I want to be a doctor is not bad too, but like, I mean, we need, sir, police, but like firefighter, but like there isn't anything really that breaks into the, like a child's mind about science. And then also I liked the idea of creating, because I like making work that's very meticulous and old master kind of style. So it doesn't necessarily fit with like a traditional illustration for a book, but I like the idea because I had a lot of interaction with kids, how they really enjoyed it. They really liked that. So I was like, well, why not dumb it down for kids? Like, why not don't simplify it? Give them an option at least. That's the complex version. And then what I ended up doing in the book too was, where appropriate, I was able to put actual science so people could, or children could actually deepen further if they were curious or excited. And basically the idea of inspiring generations of scientists, you know, the next generation, or science appreciators, lovers. So it's in their mindset. Because I think that's the other part that's really big and lacking right now is our scientific, at least in America, the education in sciences and critical thinking that comes along with that. that would really help dispel a lot of the troubles that we have with racism, with other things. When you look at it from a scientific perspective, stuff doesn't make sense. So that's where I really wanted to tie those two together. So that's what this project became. And I really fell in love with trying to create images that looked really fun. And these paintings, I've been working on them for years. And then this book process for trying to launch that. So that's another
FYI,
aspect.
that was Einstein and elephant. And please show the Wright brothers.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
So I pulled them up, but
So the Wright brothers and whales. I giggled every page.
so it was really fun to try to create these little sort of dioramas of their kind of scientific discoveries or inventions and place it in there. And so that's the project that I'm launching this spring, hopefully summer. I'll have the Kickstarter launch for it. But if you're curious and want a PDF of the book to check it out, in the first draft of it, I'm already making edits on it. But you can follow a link that they'll have provided and check that out. And then I'll keep you up to date on the project. So I'm hoping that it can really help change kind of children's and generations perspective on. I'm hoping it becomes their most cherished book.
I would want it. I would have loved that as a kid. Thank you. Anything else you want to tell us before we move on?
No, that was it. And so wonderful to see all this and be able to enjoy all this music. It's really, really wonderful. Even if we're just live over a picture, it's still fun.
We're live like.
Yes.
Well, thank you, David. What a treat. And
Thank you.
Really, I just, all of his art just is so full of whimsy and insight that I've seen so far. It's been a real pleasure.
June, can I ask a question?
Please.
Where can people get this work, David? How can we get your book? How can we get the PDF? How do we support your work?
I have that. I will put up a great big thing right at the end.
Yeah, and it hasn't been published yet. That's where I'm going to launch it through Kickstarter to get funding for the first edition. And I was hoping, this is the big hopes for kind of thing, that it would become very popular and people would enjoy it. So hopefully become more widely available, but that support would really help launch it.
Thank you. Well, we want to close things out with a little bit from our hosts. I don't know if any of you, if Jack or Van wanted to provide a little more music, because if you don't jump on it, I will.
I would love to hear Van do a song if he would.
Yeah, I'd like to pressure him.
Van, unmute yourself, Van.
When times get rough and my soul has lost its fire, I turn to my God, my adored one, my desire. And when the road grows dark and my candle is lost its flame, I turn to God and I just call his name. My God, my adored one, my King, What tongue can voice my thanks? Voice my thanks to thee. My God, my adored one, my King, my desire. What tongue can voice my thanks? What tongue can voice my thanks? What tongue can voice my thanks? Voice my thanks to thee, my God, my God.
Wow, great. I guess
I wanted to say that
abroad.
that music, Van, that is just I miss it so much, your music, and I really hope that we can have more recordings of those kinds of songs and that incredible feeling that you bring. Thank you so much.
You know what people might not know is that, when we had the World Congress back in 1992, Jack was the coordinator of the music with Tom Price. We introduced gospel music. That would be music in the style of Americans of African descent at that second Baha'i World Congress. Didn't know how people would take it. We didn't know what people would think. And the song I just sang won the best gospel song in 2005 in the Independent Music Awards program. Who ever thought, we would start making music that we could call Baha'i gospel music. But what I want to say is that just a few months later, we went to Nashville, Tennessee, and made the one and only CD that was from that Congress of the few gospel songs we knew then. And Jack was in that studio with us. So we go way back.
Well, and I want to say I'm really grateful because the first time I heard about the Baha'i Faith, NPR was talking about the Second World Congress. And that was the first time I had heard the name Baha'u'llah.
Also, I witnessed in 2001 and 2003 in Wernigerode in Germany, where yes, we have Voices of Baha there.
Right.
Yes, he sang.
Harvey was with us.
The Amazing Grace was awesome. We won the World Gold Medal in Gospel with that music. Yes.
Right. Yes.
And I wanted to say too, Ben, that and Jean and Parviz and all of our friends that, it's so important that we understand that there is no difference between any of the religions, that this music travels from one religion to another, always bringing, the music is the universal quality when you think about it, because whenever people worship, and something that Lily said right at the beginning, where she said, when you're singing, you're praying twice. I really was touched by that. I thought, you know, we don't think of religion as being evolving. We think, I was so appreciative what David said about science, about the unity of science and religion. But we don't think about religion as being evolving. We attribute evolution to everything else, but not to religion. And we have this idea that somehow, you know, that the religion comes and it stays there and that's it, right? But in fact, what's actually the reality is that there is no difference between the religions. They've all come from one God. They've all been able to express what God wants for the people at that time. But it's this idea that it's successive teachers that come to us and educate us. And in fact, the Baha'i teachings say that in the future, people won't see religious differences. They'll understand that religion evolves and that we move forward in society. And I wanted to play a song just to match, not even to match, just to try to match Van's passion. I wrote this song for my children to educate them about who all these great messengers were. And I've never heard a gospel version of it, and I'm going to hope that one day Van will do one. and it goes like this. It's very simple. It's called The Song of the Prophets. Noah, Abraham, and Krishna, Moses, Zoroaster, Buddha, Jesus Christ, and Muhammad, the Bab and Baha'u'llah. Noah, Abraham, and Krishna, Moses, Zoroaster, Buddha, Jesus Christ, and Muhammad, the Bab and Baha'u'llah. They are the waves of one sea, and they are the birds of one tree, singing one song. They are the lamps of one light. Come and be their lovers, be lovers, be lovers, be lovers of light. Noah, Abraham, and Krishna, Moses, Zoroaster, Buddha, Jesus Christ, and Muhammad, the Bab and Baha'u'llah.
And with that, no, you know, so much of music can be done in 3 chords. Like there's this little prayer about the oneness. It goes, and it's the same dang chords, 3 chords. Occasionally you spice it up, but it goes, make us one, Lord, make us one. In the Spirit of God, make us one. Hand in hand, Lord, every woman and man, boy and girl, in the spirit of love, make us one. Cuando digo que te quiero, que mi corazón será orgullosa simplemente por amor que tú me das. Cuando llueve, when the rain falls, brillas como el sol. It's your smile, tu sonrisa, shining like the sun. When I tell you that I love you, that my heart will always be prouder than I ever dreamed of, simply with your love for me. orgulloso simplemente por amor que tú me das. Same chords. Itsumademota eruku konaku tomodachi de iyo. 明日な日を夢見て無謀の道よ Make us one Lord, make us one in the spirit of love. Make us one, hand in hand, Lord, every woman and man, boy and girl, in the spirit of love. Make us one. Ojabo shalom aleinu, Ojabo shalom aleinu, Ojabo shalom aleinu, ve'al kolom. Ojabo shalom aleinu, Ojabo shalom aleinu, Ojabo shalom aleinu, ve'al kolom. Salam avenu ve'al kolam, salam, salam, salam avenu. Salam, salam. Ojabo shalom aleinu ve'al kolam. Siaham bekukanyen kwenkos. Siaham bekukanyen kwenkos. Siaham bekukanyen kwenkos. Siaham bekukanyen kwenkos. Siahamba, hamba, siahamba, hamba, siahambe kukanyen kwenko, siahamba, hamba, siahamba, hamba, siahambe kukanyen kwenko. Make us one, Lord, make us one in the spirit of God. Make us one, hand in hand, Lord, every woman and man, boy and girl, in the spirit of love. Make us one in the spirit of love. Make us one in the spirit of love. Make us one.
Wow, awesome. Great. Great.
Just a little bit more sharing so that you can get a hold of the people you need to get a hold of.
Yeah, they were asking actually if Rod has like Facebook page or.
Absolutely. Just a moment. Sorry about that. I clicked on the wrong thing somehow. Although I like that look.
Yeah, we can always send this list to the participants on email later on also.
Yes. Here we go. So to get a hold of Lily, we have Instagram and emails. To get a hold of Rodrigo, we have a website and Instagram. For David, there's a website. And here's the rest of us. We'll give you a moment to write down any notes you need to.
Sorry, my email is just lilyhlibrak@gmail.com.
Oh, that's why it didn't work. Lily H. Librak.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll put it in the chat. And here's how you get to it. Baby Animal Scientists A to Z at malechimpsites.com.
Yeah, I'm also opening the chat so everybody can maybe send it to everyone on chat. All the artists can just put their information in the chat to others if they want to.
And if you know of someone who would like to participate in the art as an artist, please let Peter Gossamy know. Parvis.
Thank you. Maybe I can also unmute everyone so people can express their feelings and how happy they are to be here and see all the. There we go. Great artists.
Give us full screen. Yeah.
Okay, so. Oh,
Feel free to click on gallery view so you get to see more faces.
yes, and everybody's unmuted. Chat is open for all. And if the information that you want is not on the chat, maybe you can ask the artists that are available here. Any questions from the audience to the artist?
Glad you all came. Glad you came.
I have to say thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
I say something. Thank you so much for everyone, the artists. I've been doing a lot of Zoom lately. I need to see a psychologist, which would treat me with Zoom probably.
Yes.
But today, this artist, they lifted my soul. It's like a spiritual bath. And I don't believe the artists know where they get a feeling. There's something up there that comes to their heart and soul. They don't know, they're just an instrument for us. And that's their love that they share with us. And that's the beauty of life. I thank everyone from the bottom of my heart.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Really is right.
Yes, many friends have told me that during these times they hear a lot of lectures, a lot of talks and devotionals, which is great, we need it, but we also need the music to uplift us. As we mentioned on our first session, that our first rhythm was the rhythm of our mother's heart when we were in the mother's womb. That was the first rhythm, and we're hoping that with these new additional young and middle-aged artists that are singing can connect our hearts more and more. Just Van or Jack, would you like to say any closing?
Just to thank everyone so much for coming today. Thank you, Lily, for singing. Thank you, Rodrigo. Wonderful to hear your music as well. And to David, who was very inspiring about your ideas. And I have a burgeoning young scientist as a grandson who I think will just love your book. So wonderful to hear about you, and wishing our artists and our audience, really a wonderful time coming up with spring coming, and hopefully some freedom from this pandemic. So you're all very much in our thoughts and prayers.
Yes.
Dear Parvis, also it's very late for our friend in Iran. Thank you so much, Iranian, which you participate in this time.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you, Mirdad, and other people.
Yes, we have many friends that are actually artists and trainers, teachers from Iran that have joined us. We are blessed. It's 12 hours difference at the middle of the night over there. We are grateful. خیلی ممنون. لطف کردین که از ایران توی این برنامه هستین. خیلی خوش آمدین. واقعا خیلی ممنونم از وقتتون. So maybe we can thank the artists. Any closing things any of the artists want to mention at all?
Allahu Abha. It's our honor to come in your gathering. We have 5 hours to the breakfast. But it's very good to see the Baha'i artists all of the world. And it's unique time for me.
Yeah.
Thanks for all.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we are blessed to have you. You have performed here for us before. We have had friends from Africa. We are hoping to have friends from Middle East and Europe to be part of this, and from Mexico.
دیدی که مرسد پایان داره.
Mhm. Well, it's wonderful to see our friends from Iran, and we wish you very well. Please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And Udu, what time is it where you are?
10:30 p.m.
No, AM. What time is it, Mirza Jan? In the AM.
Oh, it's about
1. 1.
Yes. In few hours, they are going to be fasting.
Yes, starting the
But
fast.
They're talking about
it is the food of our spirits.
Yes, with food. Beautiful.
As mentioned in the Holy Scripts. I have a question from dear Jack Lenz, dear Mr. Jack Lenz, if I can.
Yes, please.
I didn't heard about Mona's dream many years. What is the situation of this project?
I'm so glad you asked. You know, it's been very challenging to try to make a movie like this, which is about such an extraordinary subject, especially with the execution of these 10 women, of which Mona was one, as you know. And so one of the aspects of making a film like this is not just finding the resources, but finding the right time to do it. And we finally come to a point where we have both the resources and also the right time. And it's taken me over 10 years to figure that out, because this year the film will actually be produced in Malta, in Europe, because the conditions are ideal. The resources have come, and I very much appreciate you asking. I haven't been telling anybody about it because, it's one of these things where I felt so many times that we were ready, and then it didn't happen. So I'm just going to say that it will happen this year, and it will be a marvelous thing to tell the story of this young woman who was 17 when she was executed in Iran, and how impactful her life and her story will be, not just for the world, but especially for women. Who need to have freedom of conscience, freedom to voice. And they weren't just people who gave up their lives for the Baha'i cause. They gave up their lives because of their belief that women should be able to have their rightful place as equals to men in every aspect of human society.
Of course.
And as you know, that was not very acceptable in Iran, and still isn't in many countries in the world.
Yes.
Women don't have their place, their rightful place in jurisprudence, in governance, in all aspects of human society. And this story, I think, will certainly be a source of great encouragement to women all over the world.
Ja. Nee, der da.
Thank you for your works.
Thank you for asking.
But the artists are changed. And Mona get older. So you must change the artist. You must change the everything.
Yes.
So we want all of you to not only come back, but tell other people when we are here again to come and be with us.
Yes.
Of course.
2 weeks from today, right, Van?
2 weeks from today.
Good.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. And Jack and Dan, you took us back to Rabbani's conference also. We had a great time practicing with Dan for that prayer.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. And I wish everyone a happy Nowruz also. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.
Hey, dear Jack, good to see you. You didn't change at all after 35 years. Only some black things became white. Other than that, you didn't change at all. Good to see you. I love you.
Thank you, Manishur. We love you too. God bless.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. We will be talking to other artists for next few sessions, and on 27th we'll have a one for the Nowruz also. I hope you have great fasting and great Nowruz coming up next week, and we'd love to see you guys all back here on 27th. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It will be a new year. When
Yes.
Nowruz, Happy New Year, yes.
Happy Nowruz.
Happy
Yes.
Nowruz.
Thank you. Thanks, Lily. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Rod.
Bye, all.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much. Bye bye.
Is that Bill Linton I know?
Thank
I
you
saw
so
Bill-
much.
I saw Bill Linton.
Thank you, everyone.
Good to see you.
Van Gilmer. Van Gilmer.
Oh, God.
Calling Van Gilmer.
It is Bill Linton.
It is Van Gilmer, who's all the way back to Fort Washington.
Yes.
All the way
Good to
back.
see you. Good to see you.
Very good to see you.
Wow.
Yes, I met him in Fort Washington, Washington, D.C., and Prince George's County 40 years ago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So?
I think the last time we were together maybe was in my living room in Haifa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. When my oldest was just a toddler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And